Heyo, it's Tim at Vince, and today I want to go over X4 Foundation's repeat orders. Many of my videos thus far have been, when you get a few million in the bank, what do you do? Well, that's all well and good, but how do you get a few million in the bank to start with? And so that's what this video is about. And then I also wanted to say that I feel tremendously blessed with the number of views and likes, subscriptions, comments on YouTube. When I first started, I had a single individual that said, your video helped me. And so I made more thinking I would help one person. And just the outpouring has been overwhelming for me. I mean, I'm not a YouTuber, so I just like playing X4 and I like to share what I learned. So thank you all for that. This here is a Quasar. Don't believe that the ship is utilized very often by many players. It is kind of a cheap hull, so if you get to mass production, when you get your first shipyard or wharf, this might be a good candidate. I mean, it's not as OP overpowered as the Nodin per se, but it's really a great ship from the Argon. I appreciate the comments on YouTube. There was some honesty that my music was too loud or my voice was quiet relative to the music, and I actually put a fair amount of effort into that prior to posting my videos, and I still got it wrong. I guess I don't have an ear for it. So what I did is I just went ahead and turned the music off. And if you prefer music and think I need to fiddle with it some more, let me know in the comments, but I think it's just safer to go without it. Another thing I've done real quickly before we jump into the video, we go into settings. Your IQ points drop about 10 or 20 as soon as you start recording. So go into the accessibility settings and colorblind options. I've set to, what is that, protanopia? Of the three here, I read that this was the most common. So you may notice the colors look a little different on the map. I don't think that that really cost us anything, but maybe it might show some kindness to someone in my audience that suffers from that. So, if you like this or you don't like this change, let me know and I'll try to accommodate going forward. First things first, we are in Argon Prime. There will be some minor spoilers here. We're going to explore the superhighway or the ring highway. Um, See if I can find the wharf, the Argon wharf. But if you don't want to know anything about the map, this is not the video for you. It's really hard to make a video without spoilers. If you don't know anything about the game, technically every piece of information is a spoiler. And while we're doing this, let's see if we can clean up the Earl. These are all starting ships from the budgeted start. I'm going to see if I can get rid of them or at least hide them so that they don't bother you. And I'm in the Quasar Vanguard. These other ones we'll get rid of as soon as we find the wharf. The reason we're finding a wharf is we need ships to show off the repeat orders. What we'll probably do, go through, let's see, what do we want to do with repeat orders? Well, mining is a classic option, so we'll probably do some mining. Maybe collecting drops. And then we could do, let's see, revisit known stations and maybe some trading, and that should get us going, give you an idea of what to do early game. Now, at the very beginning of the game, you're going to want to do missions. You find missions around stations here. Um, but once you get some missions under your belt, you have some income and you can buy some ships. I'm going to show you what to do with those ships to make money using repeat orders. Ooh, we're going to bounce off the wall. Oh, we did. The flight update has made flying more enjoyable for me, but also more difficult. I'm not very good at it. Some people like it, some people don't. It is what it is. I like it myself, but it is not easy to do. Repeat orders requires one-star pilots. So we're going to go buy some seminars. I'll show you how to do that. You go to any station, go to the elevator, and go to the Trader's Corner. If you do like if you land at a Telati trading station, they tend to have more traders per station. That's pretty handy, but we're not in Telati space. Show me your wares, and if you look, we have a seminar for 1-star crew. Unfortunately, it's management. We'll go ahead and buy it because why not? It's cheap, 10,000 credits. Sadly, that is not going to do it for us. So we're going to have to go somewhere else. I'm going to press Shift D to go back to my ship, and we're going to go to another station and look for a piloting seminar. And there's one. That'll work for me. So a lot of this can be done with extremely cheap ships. Now, if you're doing missions, then obviously nothing is cheap, right? Because every mission might pay 10 to 50,000 credits, and a ship might be several 100,000 credits. So, um, and then if you're mining, you might lose ships to the cock, but that's just the way it goes until you get large miners, which I recommend in my other videos. All right, where are we landing at? Oh, right here. We'll try this again. Well, good thing I have the docking computer Mark II. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. We'll try docking again. I just undocked. There's some criminal traffic we could have taken out for a rep gain. Get up. Control D, not Shift D. Let's see if this place has a trader that trades us a piloting seminar. Trader's Corner. Hello. You look bored. Show me your wares. And there it is, the basic seminar for piloting. We'll take all they've got, and away we go. So we have one. I think we'll be okay with only one. Because usually, at least in my experience, I've been getting ships that have 1-star pilots already. But I wanted to show you how to get seminars and train your pilots. We've accomplished the purchasing of that. Oh, there's that ship. I don't know if I can hit it without... Ah, he got away. Yes. And then there's some drops right there. So let's see. Press O, activate the tractor beam, and it'll bring them into my ship. And here in a second, we're going to get reputation gain for taking out that criminal. All right. Let's get away from the station here. I don't want to be scanned by police. I don't know what I have in my inventory. Probably something I shouldn't. It seems like it always goes that way. And then let's purchase some ships and get rid of ships we don't need. So we don't need this one, we don't need this one, we don't need this one, and we don't need that one. Sell ships at the Argon Wharf. Should get rid of those. And then let's show you what it takes to get going. So we're going to need, there's the Quasar Vanguard, which we can't purchase, but I'm flying, just to show you where you can get it. The wonderful Elite Vanguard, the most beloved ship in X4 for its usefulness and prowess in combat. I'm being sarcastic. Since we're going to be, this ship doesn't really matter. I'm going to show you a trick where you can keep this ship on the Ring Highway forever. And it will continually update prices. So it doesn't really matter what we outfit it with. But I'm going to go ahead and choose some cheap options. The travel drive, select loadout. Let's see, you go to the low loadout, and then it chooses the Combat Mark 1. All around also might be beneficial for some of our trade ships and stuff because we're flying from the Ring Highway. Everything we're doing around in this video is around the Ring Highway. But I'm going to do travel just because why not? Yeah, let's go with the all around. Why not? Just kind of show you everything. I don't even need to supply flares. I mean, the ship's not going to be in combat. It doesn't need service crew, but it's a good habit to always provide crew. Um, they help the ship do the job that it's supposed to do better. So there's the Elite Vanguard. That's going to be our ship that goes around the Ring Highway. I also want a Elite Vanguard that is going to explore, so there's two. I want one that's going to update prices, so there's three. And then we're going to go with small ships here. Medium ships for mining and trading are technically better bang for your buck, but if you're going for absolute cheapness, let's go uh, for that which is cheap. Cheap and value are two different things. Here's a trader. I like these little traders. Let's give them some service crew. I'm going to do all around Mark 1. This is not optimal, but we're going to be trading, since we're trading off the ring highway, technically combat's better for getting up to speed more quickly. Normally travel is better if you're not around the ring highway, because the ring highway, if it doesn't exist, you need to travel from sector to sector, and the travel drive's better. And since we don't really know how far we're going to be going, I'm just choosing all around Mark 1. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments. I'm not a min-maxer. Um, and we don't really need flares on these, but I'm going to provide the service crew as well. There's our trader. Let's get a miner, courier mineral miner, and we're going to go with low. Although, even though we are low here, I'm going to give this a travel drive because he might travel longer distances. But even though we're on low preset, I do recommend grabbing the Mark II mining drill. A little more expensive, but the whole goal is to mine, so why not let your ship mine more quickly and give it some crew? This should be everything we need right here, and we're getting all of these for 1.4 million. And you don't need to start with all these at once. You could start with just an Elite Vanguard and a Callisto Vanguard, or an Elite Vanguard and a Courier Mineral. Like, you don't need, this is for everything. So as you can see, that's actually a reasonable price for as much as we're going to accomplish. And we'll get those ships built. Um, and then we're going to put a ship on the Ring Highway, remove its orders while it's on the Ring Highway, and it will fly around forever on the Ring Highway. It's pretty helpful. Um, so maybe a good time to mention, you see these factories here, the Argon Medical Supply, the Antimatter Converter Factory, and the Scanning Array. These will have prices updated. So if I click on this, right click and go to Trade Offers, you can see the price for each item and how many they want to buy or how many they're selling. Medical supplies, almost 20,000. So that's cool, but why is that updated? Well, that's because I'm near it, and if you fly near a station, you update the prices. Those prices don't last forever. They'll go out of date. Like I said, I'm not a min-maxer. I don't know the exact amount of time before something goes out of date, but eventually, if you don't fly back to it, it will go out of date, and then you won't be able to trade with it because you don't know what it's trading. The medical supply over here, if I go to trade offers, evidently I've had a ship close by, probably my Earl King flying around my headquarters unlocked this for us. But eventually, like I said, those will go out of date. And so what we want is a ship to fly near factories, as many factories as possible, to update their um, prices. So like if I take this Elite Vanguard here, I'm going to right click and hit rename. And let's just delete that. And a tip, if you put it in brackets, it will go to the bottom of the list. If you put a star or a space at the beginning, it'll go to the top of the list. We're going to just call this a pricer with a smiley face apparently. All right, and then I want to show you repeat orders. So um, let's say we want to update all prices in Argon Prime. What we can do is by clicking on the information menu, the ship and then the information menu, we have the default behavior uh, for the ship. So what we can say is if there are no orders in the queue, if there are no orders, we're going to click hold position, and we can change that hold position to repeat orders. And that's great because I just clicked off the ship. We have a captain with a over 1.5 star, but all we care about is 1 star. And that, if you look, the repeat orders takes 1 star. What if the captain doesn't have 1 star though? What if they're less than 1 star? So promote to pilot. Now this captain, I just promoted some service crew to be a captain, and they have fewer than 1 stars. If you go in the behavior menu, Now you can see that repeat orders is grayed out. We can no longer select it because our captain is not skilled enough. So what I'm going to do is use that um, seminar that we purchased by going to the communications menu for the pilot, give a seminar, and the basic seminar piloting is in my inventory. You can see I have one of them. We purchased that at the station. Now, if we say goodbye, they're very fast to learn. This pilot is more than 1 star now, and that unlocks our repeat orders queue. Some things like Expert Auto Mine takes 4 stars. I mean, that's a lot, right? So this is a way to get early game to get things unlocked using repeat orders, which only requires 1 star, which is really not that bad. Or we could revisit known stations, which we don't need to use repeat orders for. So if we do revisit known stations, we could select Argon Prime, and then the ship will go around and update prices at all stations in Argon Prime that we've explored. However, we could use repeat orders to do the same thing. Oh, it's undocking. We'll let it undock. And then we can tell it to explore or to update prices in multiple sectors instead of just Argon Prime. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's set this Elite Vanguard here. I'm going to rename him to be an Explorer. We're going to right click and hit Explore. And so now that he will explore Argon Prime for us. And while the pricer is doing its thing, let's show you the trick to get a ship to stay on the ring highway and update all factories near the ring highway the prices. I'm going to rename this to Highway Pricer. And what we do, the ship is up here at the Argon Wharf. We're just going to tell it to fly somewhere near the ring highway so that it takes the ring highway or the superhighway. And once it gets on the superhighway, we'll tell it to have no orders. And so then it will say, well, I'm just going to do nothing. But because I'm being swept along the highway by the highway mechanics, I'll do nothing forever on the highway. And while it flies around, it will update prices. It's a really cool trick. And so, and you're starting a new game, just explore until you find the superhighway. And as soon as you find the superhighway and have a ship that you can put on it, by like we did, we bought it from a wharf. You can then do this trick instead of putting satellites out everywhere and or using buying trade subscriptions. They're expensive. Um, or revisit known stations with the ship, or even using the wide area sensor array. There's many ways to update prices, but this is a super convenient way early game to do it. Just leave a ship on the ring highway. All right, so that ship's basically on the ring highway, and we're going to select it, Highway Pricer. I'm going to do this fast. I'm going to hit this X for fly and wait here on the order queue. That removes the orders for the ship. And then the ship is going to continue on forever. As you can see, they are now in second contact 2 flashpoint. Nope, they're beyond that. They're way down here. They go fast. And he's just going to fly around in a giant loop and come back to Argon Prime and then continue on a loop again. And as you can see, look at all these factories that we have. We now have prices for the Refined Goods Complex 1. If we do trade offers, we have pricing for this because it's near the ring highway and our ship flew through there. So he's just going to fly around and update prices near the ring highway forever. And that is super handy. We don't need satellites or anything like that. Now, what I'm going to show you is our pricer, who is revisiting known stations in Argon Prime. What if we want to revisit known stations in Second Contact 2 Flashpoint? Let's say we take our Explorer, who has an order for Explore, and we're going to tell them after they're done exploring in Argon Prime, explore Second Contact 2 Flashpoint for us, please. And you can see the order here. Well, once that's done, we will have a whole bunch of stations in Second Contact 2 Flashpoint that are away from the ring highway that we want to update. We can take our pricer and instead of doing revisit known stations, we can do repeat orders. And we're going to tell them to update trade offers, which is the same as revisit known stations in Argon Prime. And then we're going to tell them to also revisit known stations in second contact to Flashpoint by update trade offers. Now they'll do those two things indefinitely because that's how repeat orders works. It does everything that you've told the ship to do, goes through all of them, and then jumps back around to the beginning and starts again. That's pretty handy. Now that ship will update two sectors' prices indefinitely. The highway pricer will update prices in near all factories near the highway indefinitely. We have an explorer exploring. We have our own personal ship. So now really all we have uh, left to do is to show you how to mine using repeat orders, how to trade using repeat orders, and I didn't purchase a ship for showing you how to collect drops. Let's just do a discover because they look cool. And we're going to do cheap preset. It doesn't really matter what you do. And I had that one made already. The mining is pretty cool. So a lot of people like to look around and find like a mining factory that takes, let's say, ore, and then they find a sector that they can do ore mining in, and then they do the default behavior I'll show you. They'll do a default behavior of local auto mine, which says that you mine and sell within the same sector. That includes clusters of sectors. So if we had I'm not using the terminology correctly, but if we had a hex that had three little hexes or two little hexes in it, they could buy and sell or mine and sell within that whole big hex, even including the multiple smaller hexes. And there is terminology for all of that, but I think you get the point without me knowing it. All right, so our discover is found as well. So I'm going to do, I know for a fact that many times there are battles going on between Argon and Hop. Hop is in True Sight, Argon. They're in second contact to Flashpoint, and they like to come around this gate and fight. So I'm going to send the Discover Vanguard there and see if they're fighting. But you'll notice, as you explore, you'll notice battles going on, and you might want to collect drops. It's a great way to make some extra cash early game. So we're going to send a ship down there, kind of multitasking here. To save time on the video, we've got the courier mineral. Well, what we want to do is find an area to mine. And so if I click on the information menu, again, if this is not visible, you just go to the right of the map, click information, and then you click the information submenu. And if I click on second contact to Flashpoint, you can see that we actually can mine ore and silicon here, and some other things. But these are your two. Silicon takes a little longer to mine, and a little more, sells for a little more, and then ore is faster. So what we're going to do is just mine some ore with our mineral courier. But instead of doing a local auto mine, we're going to do repeat orders. Uh-oh, they're scanning my inventory. I need to stand up. If you stand up, they cannot scan your inventory. Cool trick, FYI. Alright, back to where we were. Courier mineral, repeat orders, and we're just going to say, hey, second contact to Flashpoint, why don't you mine ore here? And see, since we're on repeat orders, it creates a mining command in second contact to Flashpoint for ore, and it will do that forever. It looks like there are some fights going on. Maybe the fight's going on in True Sight. So where's our Discover? I don't see a lot of fighting, just with some Xenon. Let's see if the fight's going on in True Sight. And then, so we've got the courier mineral is on his way to mine. Now he might want to sell, right? If you mine forever and you don't sell, that's not helpful. So I could have used a mining filter to show you where to mine, I guess. but I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is the trade filter, though. If you go to the right and see this filter settings, number of trade offers is at 10. Well, if I move the trade offers to 1 and then move it all the way back up, you'll see it maxes out at 5. That's misleading because you can click on the number 5 and type whatever you want, 10, 100, doesn't matter. And then it allows you to kind of override the filter settings. I don't know why it's that way, but it is. So just know that you can click that, type it, and type in the number that you want. And we don't care about container. We don't care about liquid or condensate. We do care about solid. And so this is an interesting map because ore, there's nowhere to sell ore. How am I going to show you how to sell ore if we don't have anywhere that buys it? Just to double check, I will type in ore, and it's literally not found off the ring highway. That is not helpful. It is randomized, right? So, but I will probably re-record this video because that's unusual that you can't sell ore or silicon. What we could do is we could sell Nevidium, though, at the trading station. So let's just do that. Just know that usually in your playthrough, you will find places that buy ore and silicon by exploring the ring highway. And if not, we have our pricer and our explorer going, and we will eventually find a place to sell ore. And when you do, you want to place a satellite there, or have a pricer update prices using repeat orders or the revisit known stations command. But yeah, so this is a good way to show you. We go to the courier mineral, go to the information menu, and see that he is mining. So let's get rid of this order. Let's look and see if he has any thing in his storage, and he does not, otherwise we would dump it. And now we're going to tell the ship, who's on repeat orders, to mine in Nevidium. And now they will mine Nevidium indefinitely. And then we can go to the trade menu, and we could click on Nevidium and sell, right? But let me show you a trick. That would only sell, ice is probably actually better. This Nevidium will make more money, but the market will run out. I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to pivot. I apologize. Don't mind that. Mine Nevidium, or ice. Words are difficult. Mine ice. Make sure you don't have anything in your, okay. Yeah, so he's going to mine ice. So now we're going to sell off that ice. But instead of right-clicking directly on it, which would sell directly to the factory here, it would sell to the ice refinery. I'm going to go to that sector and right-click on the sector and say sell in. And then it will sell any factory within that sector that is an ice refinery or that purchases ice. It will sell there instead of the individual. This is the individual. I can right-click and sell, or I can right-click and sell in that sector, which will sell, like I said, to any factory that buys. So it's actually better to do this way. That menu is going to be hard to get, so I'll just move the map up, click Sell In, Holy Vision, and that gives me a menu that's a little easier to navigate because I moved the map up. I don't want to keep anything, and I don't really care if I make a lot of money, so I'm going to do minimum price at 26. I'd rather sell something than to make a ton of money one time and not be able to sell again. And then if your ship can sell for more than 26 credits, the pilot will sell for more than 26. So this is the minimum, not the absolute price. And you can see it's now going to sell ice and Holy Vision. We can even add locations. So another cool trick, if I zoom out, and we can see the whole map that we have explored. And so ice is selling for 29 credits down here. But if I press T, the T key on the keyboard, I can see the second best place that buys ice, in which case there's literally nowhere. But if it did, it would show me the second best place that purchases ice, and I could add that to the order queue. So now we have our mineral courier who's going to mine and sell ice forever, as much as they can, and I will make money that way instead of local auto mine. Let's go back to our Discover Vanguard and see if there's any combat here. There is some. I don't see any drops. What I'm going to do, since I know that most combat takes place up here, I'm going to put this ship on repeat orders. And I'm going to tell them to collect drops near this gate. And you've noticed that there's actually some combat going on up here by this gate. So let's just click and drag this so that it covers both gates within its range. Let's rename the ship. I'm going to name it Collector. And I like to put ships that I don't need to ever think about again in brackets and then put them at the bottom of the list. So now anytime combat happens and there's a drop, my collector will go collect those drops, like right there. See these drops? Now the collector is going to fly to the center of this circle, and then the collector is going to go collect these drops. As soon as the collector has a drop, we can tell them to drop it off at the PHQ. But we can't do that yet. So if we go to ships with inventory, which is this icon here, you can see nothing has inventory. We'll give it just a second, and then he will pick up some inventory, and then a new option will come available for this ship to drop off at the PHQ. And it looks like it's headed for this inventory up here, actually. This video is a little all over the place. I'm trying to multitask to save time. If I did each one of these commands in sequential order, the video would balloon in length as we wait for each ship to do what I commanded it to do. So thanks for bearing with me and putting on your multitasking cap today. Come on, you are such a slow little guy. It's like I gave him really cheap equipment and engines. And then you might be worried that he would take damage, right? Because right now, collecting drops, he's just going to sit in this bubble forever. And if something attacks him, he's in a combat zone, right? There's xenon fly through here. It's just not safe. So what we can do is give him another order to fly away. You don't want to fly and wait, because then he'll wait. But we could collect drops somewhere else. And what that'll do is when there's nothing, he'll do, first he'll collect drops here, and then when there's nothing to collect, he will fly up here, whoop, and try to collect drops, which gets him out of the combat zone. And then when he can't collect anything here, he'll fly back and check the combat zone. So reduces his efficiency slightly, but gets him out of the combat zone where he doesn't just sit here and get hit by a xenon. You could do the same thing up in Hatikva's Choice. There's a lot of xenon that like to fly around this gate, and you can tell a ship to collect stuff and then get away and come back and collect stuff and get away. It's just a neat little trick. So as you can see, the ship now has inventory. So if we right click on him, we can tell him to deposit inventory at the HQ. This option was not there until the ship gets inventory, but now that it has inventory, this option becomes available, and you can see that he's now going to collect drops and deposit inventory. And then he'll come back and collect drops indefinitely. So that's a great way. You can go to your PHQ every once in a while and pick up all this cool inventory stuff and then sell them at traders, just like where we purchased the seminars at the beginning of this video. You can go there and sell things that the ship collects. Pretty handy. And you may not have the PHQ yet, but that's okay. When you can just go to the ship manually and tell the captain to give you its inventory. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to teleport to, and I will click on the captain, and you can just say, hand me your inventory, which I'm not going to do. But then the captain will hand me their inventory, and then I can go sell it. Let's go back to my handy dandy Quasar Vanguard. And I think all we have left to do in this video is to show you trading and how you can trade. Trading's a little more difficult. I like to manually trade, but I want to show you repeat orders trading. So What we want to do is open the trade. First of all, I guess we should set this ship on repeat orders and confirm. This mineral I don't need to, I can rename my mineral miner to miner and my trader to trader. Oop. All right. Enable the trade filter. Go to the filter settings and notice we have solid selected but no container. Let's get rid of solid and go to container. And we can see I have 10 wares. And then whole parts are usually good. I see them in both lists, the purchased and the sold. And there is a spread. We can purchase them for 209 and sell them for 272. And the second best is still 270. Whoop, yeah, 272. What's the second, by pressing the T key, the second best purchase price? That got messy. Second best purchase price. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it's because it was selected. Of whole parts, it's hard to see, is 210. So we can purchase them for less than 220 and sell them for more than 220. Let's see, 272. I'm going to go 250, just randomly picking a price. So let's purchase whole parts. Again, you can right click on this to buy them directly from the Hat Argon Trading Station, or we can go to the Argon Trading Station sector, which is Hat Tikva's Choice 1, and right click here and then hit buy in, and it will buy in the whole sector instead of the individual station. Let's do some whole parts. Very touchy mouse wheel. We're going to buy as many as we can. For 209 is the minimum, but as we purchase them, that price might go down. So I'm going to say, spend, the max is 272. So let's say I'm going to spend up to 250 for these. And now that trader will go and purchase in this sector as many whole parts as it can. And you see that here in the order queue. And then let's sell the whole parts. And the best place to sell them is the Talati Wharf. Well, what's cool, if you're paying attention here, is the second best place is the Paranid Wharf. So we know that all wharfs buy whole parts. So what we can do is just set up a sell at every wharf. So we're just going to turn off the trade filter, and instead of selling directly at the wharf, there might be a station that is also buying whole parts. So we're going to take the trader, right click, sell in. We're going to select whole parts. We're going to try to select whole parts. I don't want to keep any. And we're going to sell, let's go down to, what did I say, 250 is what we purchased them for. So let's make sure we make a profit at 251. I believe the Talati equipment dock buys whole parts. Let's just check. They do for 204. Maybe that'll get better in time. So we'll just include them in our list of whole parts for 251. We can sell here in Trinity Sanctum 3. I'm going to sell whole parts for 251. I'm going to sell whole parts in Holy Vision. Whole parts for 251. And then last but certainly not least, let's sell whole parts in Argon Prime. Here's a good example of why I'm doing it sector-wide, because the Argon Shipyard and the Argon Wharf are both buying whole parts, and I can get them both with a single click, or a single selection here, by selecting the sector. And whole parts for 251. Now we're going to buy whole parts and sell them first in Profit Center Alpha, and if we can't sell them there, we're going to sell them in Bright Promise and so on. We could make this even better though, because we're buying whole parts in one location. What if we could buy them from that location runs out or the price gets too bad? Let's buy them somewhere else. We go to the trader, activate the trade filters, and whole parts sold is the Hat Argon Trading Station, which is what we have right here. If you look, we're buying it in Hat Teakfish Choice. Let's see where the second best place is with the T key. Does this weird menu. Oh, look, there is something down here in Second Contact 2 Flashpoint. They're selling whole parts. Oh, a whole part factory. Very cool. So what we're going to do is just select the trader, right click, and say buy in Second Contact 2 Flashpoint. We're going to buy whole parts for 250. We're going to buy as many as we can. Now, this doesn't really matter because this buy is going to occur and this buy is going to occur, and then we're going to sell. But let's say that this drives you nuts and you want all your buys up top and you want your sells at the bottom. You can select this option, and these arrows allow you to move up or down, and if you press control it moves it to the very top. So now we've moved our Second Contact 2 Flashpoint whole part factory purchase to the very top, and it will attempt to buy at this place, which should hopefully have a cheaper price, but it does not currently, than the Hat Teakfish Choice trading station. Now this trader is going to trade whole parts and always make a profit. We set it up that way. And that is that. So we have accomplished many things. We have a trader, we have a pricer and a highway pricer that just updates our prices continually around the highway. We have a collector that collects inventory items for us in battle zones and attempts to get out of the way when combat is happening, and then doesn't just sit in the zone where the combat's happening. And drops it off at our headquarters if you have that. You have a miner that is going to mine. As you can see, he just sold off some wares and now is going back to mine some ice. And we have an explorer, which is not repeat orders. It's just going around and exploring things for us. So that's just a overkill video on repeat orders and how to accomplish many different activities early game really cheaply before you get going. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, uh, give me a thumbs up or subscribe or throw a comment in the comment section. I can't respond to everything, but I do read every comment and I appreciate it, y'all. Take care and enjoy.